The San Jose Sharks placed Nick Leddy on waivers. Is this the mark of something bigger coming?
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young. I've been covering the Sharks since 2018, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen, proudly part of the Locked On Network, the number one sports podcast network. We cover your team every day. If you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're going to be looking back at the week it was and what we learned, including Nick Leddy is now on waivers. What does that mean for San Jose? And is this maybe the mark of something bigger coming, question mark? Plus, we'll talk about Michael Misa's ramp up as it looks like it is going to be full go for Misa to at the end of the season here. And we're going to dive into the special teams, which have been struggling as of late. And this week were absolutely horrific. So before we get to all that, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. All right, we're going to start with Nick Leddy, who was placed on waivers today. And the short-term thing of this is he is getting moved down or getting placed on waivers. This does not mean as of right now when we're recording this at night here that Nick Leddy is no longer with the organization. He is still with the organization. The hope from the Sharks perspective is that you place him on waivers, he clears waivers, and then you can assign him to the San Jose Barracuda where he can play games. The Sharks, you can only have 23 players on your NHL roster. And with Vincent Desharnais, who's expected to make his return against the Florida Panthers on Monday, you needed to clear a roster spot to have Desharnais back. So that is the short term of why the Sharks are doing this. With San Jose doing this as well, there will be a little bit of cap ramifications for doing this. Not that the Sharks have to kind of worry about cap space, but if Nick Leddy does go unclaimed, he will basically have $1.15 million of his $4 million contract that can go down to the Barracuda. The rest of his contract, so whatever that is, right, 2.85 million, will be still on the books. I guess 2.85 million will still be on the Sharks books as a buried contract. So just a little bit of cap clarification with that. But now there's a couple thoughts here with Nick Leddy, right? And just kind of pondering out loud for a guy in Nick Leddy who, right, we all know hasn't really played his best hockey with the Sharks this year, does have a 16-team trade list. And we know the Sharks are trying to kind of clear out some of these veteran guys. Would a team kind of do what the Sharks did, right? And if you remember how the Sharks acquired Nick Leddy, the Blues actually tried to trade Nick Leddy to the Sharks, and Nick Leddy blocked it because the Sharks were not on his trade list. So could San Jose be doing the same thing right now where they are basically they're trying to trade Nick Leddy, but of course Nick Leddy is not like the game tape is not been great / his 16-team no trade list. Is this one of those we'll put him on waivers, you claim him, and then we'll kind of work out a deal at another time? And that's what I'm wondering. Now, again, I don't think Nick Leddy gets claimed. But you do know the Sharks are sniffing around players, and of course, Kiefer Sherwood keeps coming up as a potential player that the Sharks are very much interested in. You look at Vancouver's defensive group right now. You have Phil Peronic, who's going to be there. He's got a no move clause. I know there's been talk of him, but I think his agent came out today and was like, he's not going anywhere. You have Marcus Peterson, Tyler Myers, who maybe might. I think some teams have been very interested in him. You have Derek Forbert, who's on LTIR right now. And then you have some young players in Z William and Tom Villander, Victor Mancini, and then Pierre Olivier Joseph. So with the Canucks, who do have a ton of cap space, they actually not a ton of cap space, but do you think maybe the Canucks could be a team that looks to just grab him as a potential, just like we know we're going to be moving some players here soon? Do we want to maybe just grab him and have him as like, at least he's a warm body for us? Right, type. And I thought maybe Calgary might be another team that would be interested in taking on Nick Leddy as well, especially when you heard that Rasmus Andersson was traded to the Vegas Golden Knights, and they did get they did get a defenseman back in their trade, so that probably doesn't. And actually now, I don't know how they keep getting away with this, but the Calgary, after retaining, actually now has more salary with the acquisition of Zach Whitecloud. The Zach Whitecloud contract is more than what the Rasmus Andersson retained contract is. So not only did you trade your best asset, you also gave Vegas more cap space to work with. So way to go. People should just stop trading with Vegas. It just doesn't seem fair, us included. But though I'm wondering if, and again, too, if you put Nick Leddy on waivers, I've made this point before, and he clears waivers, he actually does become more tradable, because then as a franchise who, if you're acquiring Nick Leddy, you already have that flexibility built in where you don't have to put him right in the NHL. You can send him down to the AHL. And then if you do want to, acquire Nick Leddy, or if there's some contracts that maybe you need his cap, to hit the cap floor or whatever it is, maybe this does actually improve his trade value a little bit. Again, I don't think Nick Leddy has a ton of trade value right now, but if a team were interested in acquiring him for, they know that they're kind of out of it and they just want to have a warm body, that way they can actually ice NHL defenseman, it would make sense here. So I am interested in seeing this, especially with, again, the dynamics of, are the Sharks actually interested in acquiring Kiefer Sherwood, which it does sound like they are. Plus you add that Rasmus Andersson, where you take, one of the best potential realistic defensemen off the market. Who knows what happens with a team like the Rangers or something like that, if they want to make a big splash and trades one of their players, looking at you, Adam Fox. But the timing of it is a little intriguing. That's all. And again, I know you're getting Vincent Desharnais back, and this is most likely just a move to get Vincent Desharnais back. And Nick Leddy, I think, could help this Barracuda defensive group, right? I know they just added Nolan Allen, but and Jack Thompson sounds like he's going to be out for a little while. Nick Leddy could, I think is an improvement on a Hache with the Barracuda, who I think Hache has been playing well, but I think Nick Leddy in the AHL is probably it's fair to say he's an upgrade on a guy like Hache. If you're a Barracuda team that is looking to potentially make a long playoff run, Leddy's not the worst potential guy to play in the AHL here. So, and it does, again, open up the door for Vinny Desharnais, who was playing very well for the Sharks before he got hurt. So, and he should help a struggling penalty kill, which we'll talk about here at the end of the show. But next, we're going to talk about Michael Misa and how all signs are now pointing to Misa should be earning more and more playing time, or at least more and more games played. So we'll break that down here in just 1 second. The NFL playoffs are here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. Because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts you can apply to the bets you like most. Open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boosts you want to apply. The boosts give you more juice on the bets you already like instead of forcing you to bet something new. You can make the picks, then apply your profit boost to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. All right, guys, of course want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you haven't already, go check out the Everydayer Club, the All Access Everydayer Club. You get access to ad-free episodes of Locked On Sharks, compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every major podcast app. You get an invite to a members-only Locked On Everydayer Discord server, which includes a group chat for listeners of the show. You get to hang out with me. We get to talk cool stuff. We were talking about the whole Rasmus Anderson trade, and that was kind of fun, what we thought of that. Special access episodes of Locked On Sharks as well. So go to lockedonsharks.supercast or tap the link in the show notes to learn more. All right. So Michael Misa, it seems very much like the Sharks are, we know, right? The whole first half of the season, it was just like drawn out, like he's going to play this game. Then we're going to sit him a couple games, and right. Then he gets hurt and they're just kind of kicking the can as far down the road. Well, the Sharks, of course, on Friday before, like I thought, that he was not going to play in Friday's game because of just the contracts, right? And we saw how aggressive the Sharks were, at least in that moment, aggressive to move a contract when they sent Kyle Masters to the Carolina Hurricanes. So you've opened it up, right? And Misa gets to play in his second night of a back-to-back for the first time in his career. He plays both games in the back-to-back, and it looks like the Sharks are going to have him, from the sound of it, playing on Monday against the Florida Panthers. We'll see what happens on Tuesday here when they play the Tampa Bay Lightning. But I think this is what we want to see from Misa, right? Is how does he respond, and how does he kind of continue to earn those minutes? And I think that's going to be the next big thing for Misa, is earning those minutes, because as much as we want to see Michael Misa playing games, he only played 11-22 last week in 3 games, like 11-22 average. Like the only players who played less than him were the fourth line of Ryan Reeves, Zach Ostapchuk, and Barclay Goodrow, who played. Goodrow played less than 11 minutes. Ostapchuk played about 10, and then Ryan Reeves played less than 8.5 minutes. So while we, getting first baby steps here, right? We want to see Michael Misa just in the lineup. The hope is that we start to kind of see that Will Smith run, where maybe it's through the Olympic break here, where you're just like, let's just get him used to playing games again. And then when we get out of the Olympic break, okay, now that he's used to playing games, you're fresh. You've got like a month and a half. About a month and a half or 2 months here. Okay, let's go now and start to kind of see those minutes creeping up to 15, 16 minutes a night. I'm not expecting, him to be in that 20-minute range. I don't think he's there physically, which again, he's 18. This isn't Macklin Celebrini, who, of course, I think continues to prove just how insane he was as an 18-year-old last year, playing basically 20 minutes a game and doing what he did. He is going through normal 17, normal 18-year-old rookie stuff that we're seeing. So I do think for San Jose, for Michael Misa, okay, like we're not going to mess, like we'll probably still monitor your games here and there. Like I guess I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he does sit out against Tampa, but then again, they don't play again until Friday. So maybe they're just like back to back and you have a couple days, you don't play again until Friday, after Tuesday, like let's continue to go. Plus we also kind of need to keep getting points since we're still in this playoff race. But I want to see now, okay, Misa, let's start to kind of ramp things up a little bit here, right? And he's expected to play with Chernyshov, and I think Pavel Regenda are his projected line mates. At least that's what Shang Peng of San Jose Hockey now had from practice on Sunday. So we know you're very comfortable with Chernyshov. I know Chernyshov's had a little bit of a kind of, I don't want to say a rough patch, but he came out so hot of the gate here where like it's kind of cooled down a little bit, which is to be expected, right? Chernyshov wasn't going to be a point per game type of producer for San Jose, especially as a 20-year-old. Someone comfortable here. We're going to, try to put you in advantageous spots, especially if we have the Wenberg line, Wenberg, Eklund to Foley, who we can kind of be put into more defensive, positions with the, and kind of match those up a little bit better. But let's see if this line can kind of start to click and start to kind of form some chemistry and start to kind of build some positive steps here with Michael Misa being the main guy and starting to kind of drive a line a little bit here. And I think having two bigger guys like Regenda, who we've seen right with his style of play of let me get to the net. I'll let you guys do cool creative stuff. And then I can kind of cash in. I think that's going to work really well with two guys like Misa and Chernyshov, who have shown a bunch of chemistry. Chernyshov is, very good at getting, kind of protecting the puck along the boards. And I think Misa, with his craftiness, I think this line has a chance to work for San Jose here. So I think that's kind of what we want to see from this next week is, okay, how does Misa start to kind of stack some games here? And how does he look, and how is he, kind of progressing here? Because we are going to see mistakes. We are going to see Misa, maybe get physically pushed around a little bit, as to be expected, right? Go back to when Will Smith first started. That first month of Will Smith hockey was miserable at times, right? It was miserable. He's playing, 12, 13 minutes a night. He was getting pushed around a little bit. And then all of a sudden, right, he started to kind of earn a little bit more. And then they put him with Macklin, and then they took off. So, Misa's not going to have the put him with Macklin thing, but I think for Misa here, this is a nice, I think these next couple weeks before the Olympic break, I think these are important weeks for him to try to kind of stack some games, right? Just stack some NHL games because we have seen him play really well at times. I know it feels like 1,000 years ago, but we have seen him play really, really well at times in limited minutes. So I think for him, it's going to be that kind of quality over quantity type of approach, right? Can we get a couple good shifts a game where you start to see those flashes from Misa, where you start to see him kind of put things together? And I think the production will start to come. And, he still sneakily finds ways to produce for San Jose. But I think I'm really interested to see how he stacks these games over the next couple of weeks. So two groups of people who could really stack some good games here, I think, are the power play and the penalty kill, both of which have been awful. So we're going to discuss if we're going to see some changes here from the Sharks when it comes to personnel to maybe try to kind of get this thing going here a little bit. So we'll discuss these special teams in just 1 second. If you ever hired someone who looked good on paper but wasn't the right fit, you know how important that is when you want to get the candidates to truly match what you're looking for. You need to trust Indeed's sponsored jobs. Hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs put your posts at the top of the page and help you reach the right candidates faster. If you nothing worse than, again, you're trying to find someone, you need to fill a job right now, and it's just waste so much time looking for people. You're trying to find the right resume buzzword, all that fun stuff. You don't have to worry about that. The sponsored job posts, your post to people who are the best match for your role, and it makes a real difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. So spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with less stress, less time, and more results. Use Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of the show get a $75 sponsored job credit to help you give your job the premium placement it deserves at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support the show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. All right. Do, of course, want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Sharks ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Head over to lockedonsharks.supercast to join the club. Okay. The special teams have been poop, to be honest. Bad weeks from both special teams units. So if you go back from Monday on, looking from Monday on the 12th through the end of the week here, the Sharks special teams went, it was bad. The power play for San Jose had 4 opportunities in 2 games, which, 2 games, not super great there, especially for a team like San Jose, who does usually draw a lot of penalties. But you got 4. I know the Caps game was a struggle to draw a penalty. They just didn't call anything in that game, but still, you went 0 for 4. This is also coming on the heels of the Vegas game when you also went 0 for against Vegas. And yes, I know they had 4 against Dallas, but the Sharks power play is on a bit of a cold streak here. And the good news is, right, you have Will Smith who's back. So that should help. And I do wonder how with San Jose, if right, we've seen Will Smith on the second unit at times. We've seen him on the first unit with Celebrini at times as well. But if you're having Celebrini and then Eklund, because Eklund in his playmaking, especially, a guy like Wenberg who's that net front presence, do you have maybe Smith take over the Toffoli role on the power play? Because that would give you, and then you're going to have Orlov/Klingberg on the back end of the first unit there. And then that would potentially kick down Toffoli to the second unit, where you're going to probably have like Misa, Toffoli, probably Regenda, who's, again, that net front presence type of player for San Jose. And then, they're most likely going to put Orlov/Klingberg, but I think it's time, especially with the way that San Jose's been, the way that he's been playing lately, and the way, again, the power play has also struggled. Also, probably Colin Graf on that second power play unit. So if you like Graf, Chernyshov, Misa, and then Regenda, like you can see that. I think, Graf playing kind of the Eklund role, Toffoli and Smith kind of playing the same roles as potential shooters. Regenda playing the, Regenda playing the Wenberg role, Misa playing the Celebrini role, and then your different, defensemen. It's probably how you would potentially line it up. But I do think Dickinson, though, is getting really close, or should be getting close to getting some power play opportunities. Right? We've seen him, especially when the Sharks are down. You saw it against the you saw it in their last game where they were, down. They're trying to kind of come back in that game. He played the most minutes throughout. He played the most minutes on the team. Dickinson, though, out there with Klingberg when they're trying to kind of push for that extra offense. And I Dickinson has ran an excellent power play at London. Yes, I know that London team was incredibly stacked with a lot of really good OHL and junior players, and a lot of players are probably going to have nice long careers in the NHL. But like Dickinson, you didn't just draft Dickinson 11th overall for no reason. Like I do think Dickinson has offensive chops, and he's been so focused on his defensive game this year. And you have seen him make huge strides for that. Like, let's reward the kid and let him get some offensive opportunities here to, help this. Again, this is a struggling power play. You take out those 4 goals against. Against Dallas, like this unit has really struggled as of late. And I think you have to try to kind of find something. You got to do something here. What's the doing the same thing over and over with expecting different results. I think that's a pretty, it's a little tough there. So, right. You look at, since the start of January, the Sharks have 8 power play goals, which is great. But 4 of those came in one game. So 4 goals so that's 1 out of the 7 games they played. 4 of them came in one game. So I think you need to try to kind of maybe shake things up a little bit here and try to find some sort of a spark here for San Jose. So as for the penalty kill, penalty kill has been brutal as well. Last week, it was a whopping 50%. Again, great job. They only took 4 penalties, but you gave up 2 goals on those 4 penalties, right? And like, yes, I know the Wenberg goal came from, a broken stick type against Detroit, where you just, you would like Wenberg to have a stick there, right? And even the Caps goal was a weird bounce off the end boards, and Ferraro was pretty well positioned there, but still struggled. But this is a unit, though, I think that really does needs a little bit of juice here. And even again, looking back through January 1st, 66%, like 7 goals allowed on 21 power play or penalty kill opportunities. So I know Dellandre has missed some time, and Dellandre has been a big part of your penalty kill. You're hopefully getting Desharnais back and should be slotted into your penalty kill here. But like, you look at your defenseman, right? Klingberg is not going to play on the penalty kill. We've seen that. It's not pretty. It's Ferraro, it's Liljegren, it's Dickinson, and now it's probably going to be Desharnais who's going to be jumping in there. I know Orlov plays on it as well, but you've got to try to kind of manage some of those minutes a little bit with him. So we've seen Wenberg and we've seen Graf, like we've seen Ostapchuk playing on the forward units as well. You do wonder if like Eklund, because like Eklund's played on the penalty kill a bunch as well. I wonder if he maybe gets a run, but he plays so many like just regular minutes for San Jose, whereas you're starting to kind of maybe worried about overworking Eklund a little bit, but maybe again, as poor Colin Graf, who has to play 1,000 penalty kill minutes for the Sharks forward groups. So I'm really like, who's going to be that 4th penalty killer for San Jose here as they try to kind of fix this issue and not have to rely so much on the goaltending, but just like, you can't expect to be continue to be in the race for the playoffs if your power play is going over. And then if your penalty kill is giving up, a goal every 3 power play opportunities. So these are going to be, I think, some big issues, and hopefully, again, Desharnais coming back can help it. But if Desharnais is the reason why your penalty kill, Desharnais and Dellandre, the reason why your penalty kill is collapsed, I think you might have some bigger issues there than just maybe personnel. So that's gonna be it for me today. We'll be back tomorrow. Of course, we'll have a preview for the Sharks Cats, and then we'll have a breakdown of that as well. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Speaking of YouTube, thank you to everybody. 6,000 subscribers. It blows my mind. 6,000 of you guys. Really appreciate it. I know there's people commenting and stuff. It's like, I remember when you were like in the hundreds and stuff and been here since then. It's look at us. Look at us, friends. Also, go check out. I was with Brody on. He had me on for his little mic check thing. So it was like 10 minutes. It's on the Sharks YouTube and on the Sharks webpage as well. So you can go check that out. Where I talk some Sharks with Brody Brazil. Yeah, follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at my fry hole. Until tomorrow. Bye, friends.